response mechanism. Disaster hits a community which is within a local government, within a state. The first responder is the local government. Second responder is the state. If the capacity of the state is exceeded, the federal government comes in through NEMA. Instead of the bottoms-up approach, it has turned the other way. Mr. Chairman, as we speak today, I have written to all the 36 state governors, and I have copies to show you 4 times. When NIMET released seasonal climate prediction and NISA released their flood outlook, we warned them in time. After we organized stakeholders meeting to analyze those reports and identify vulnerable areas with risk mapping, and sent it out to all the state governors early. So we wrote to them 4 times, and part of what is in the letter is they should have local emergency management committee. Mr. Chairman, it's sad to note that only 4 states have local emergency management committee. Only 4 states. Some states, as we speak, same as don't exist. They don't have state emergency management agency. How do we manage disaster from bottom up when you don't have, some states don't even have SEMA? Some SEMAs are just like a briefcase. They're just word of mouth, but there is no SEMA because we know we're interacting with states.
Talk less of local government.
Talk less of local government. So even those that have LEMCs, have they been equipped? No state, or I should say most states, have not put anything on the table for handling disaster in this country. Everything that comes up in any state, the first responder everybody calls up to NEMA. We are overstretched. All these people, I'm seeing them for the first time maybe in over a week, because they are all deployed to different states. All our directors, everybody, because I cannot be in every state, so everybody is given 3-4 states to handle, 2-3-4 states to handle. Most of them came back yesterday, and I think some today. The second question, Southwest was also affected with the flood. Sir, our hands are very tight. Financially, handling the situation.
Where is Southwest?
Yeah? All the states in Southwest. Yes, sir. All the states, yes. It depends, sir. You see, it's not like maybe we're expecting all the states to be like Bayelsa, but some communities or some local governments will be affected within that state. Sir, the agency will be needing special intervention to be able to operate, to handle the magnitude of disaster that we are talking about now. We have involved, for instance, in Bayelsa, we have used the Navy to go and rescue. We have used the Air Force to help us take relief items to Bayelsa. They could not continue last week because their aircrafts and their helicopters were taken for maintenance, but they promised to go back to the field to also start airlifting by Wednesday, this week Wednesday, to continue with Bayelsa. The President has given us 12,000 metric tons of grains directed. They should give us through the silos, Ministry of Agric. That is 400 trucks, which was distributed across all the 36 states plus FCT. We have got Flood Committee, Presidential Committee on Flood, has started distributing items worth 1.5 billion naira to the 6 geopolitical zones, which will also be taken to each state. Sir, and also preparing the state SEMAs, we are sponsoring joint courses on disaster management with SEMA. Just recently, the U.S. Embassy, U.S. Aid, and U.S. Forestry organized training for SEMAs. But still, as mentioned earlier, most states don't have SEMAs. So the representation, when we invited the SEMAs, only a few states came. We are just about to have another training for all states and LEMCs by Beaumont University Disaster Management Center, where all 36 SEMAs and that of FCT are going to participate. So we will also need the states to rise up. So in handling disaster, early warning, early action. We give them warning in time, but they have to also act early. It's not that no state, all the states are aware that this thing is going to hit. And we have also sent them with risk mapping, but what action was taken. A typical example I keep on repeating on and on and on. There's a place called Trademore Estate in Lugbe. Year in, year out, that place floods heavily in Abuja here. But with early warning, with early action, for the first time, it didn't flood there. The minister took a very decisive action, demolishing the buildings there, demolishing even police station there, so that there will be way for water to pass through, a water channel. I think the state governors need to do more. I'll say they need to sit up, sir. The states are leaving everything in terms of disaster 100% to NEMA. Sir, we are doing on-the-spot assessments across the states. We're doing on-the-spot assessment across the states to ascertain and verify what is lost, destructions, farmlands affected, and so on. So we have the records, but assessment is still ongoing. The records we have are the number of farmlands, crops, but we're trying to get who are the people involved and everything, names and everything with all details attached to it.
How quickly can we get such a report?
No, assessment can't be over now, sir, since it's still
even if it's interim on interim basis, so that we can have a working document.
Yes, we can give a situation report immediately.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And we also have figures, number of deaths, number of houses affected, hectares of farmlands affected, totally destroyed, partially destroyed, houses totally destroyed, injuries, and so on. We also have that we can share with you, sir, including per local government. But this is not something we'd like to share with the media, because not that the media are enemies or anything. This is a political season whereby people like to say, for the first time, I can see states trying to be number one of the most devastated states. I'm praying for every state to be the last. But it's like there's competition. Phone calls coming in. No, our state is number one. No, I'm saying people. So we should not be praying for the worst. We should be praying for the best. Sir, as we're doing this assessment, there is need for agri-intervention immediately, so that those farmers for food security, so that they can get back to their farms. Without that food security, with this devastation, the crisis ahead is big. So let me also prevail on the committee, since we have written to state several times. This flood of 2022 is still coming in 2023. These states must be advised early. They must set up local emergency management committee. They must set up SEMA, and they must fund local emergency management committee and fund their SEMA. Mr. Chairman.
And presidential intervention in the area of flooding?
Nothing. We have not gotten any intervention for flooding.
No private sector participation in aiding flooding?
Private sector is, as I mentioned, there's Presidential Committee on Flood headed by Alhaji Aliko Dangote. They have started distributing items worth 1.5 billion naira, and they have started distributing it to the 6 geopolitical zone, where we will provide logistics for the haulage to other places.
So they handled it directly themselves?
Yes, they did everything, but we are going to handle the haulage. So another challenge we have is manpower. If we are going to stretch NEMA like this, so sometimes if you come to NEMA, if you come to the office, you meet a ghost town. All our equipment, all our resources, all our staffs are being deployed to states. The manpower we have in NEMA to manage disasters of this magnitude is too low. And there are some things that people don't know. While going for this assignment, we almost lost lives of our own people. A staff of ours going to Zamfara, or I should say staff in their vehicle, they were attacked. Bandits opened fire on them. There are bullet holes on their vehicles. Our lives are at risk whilst trying to serve this country. There was an accident involving our staffs. One of them broke his leg, and so on. So we face all sorts of risks. The risk we face is too much, and there's nothing like hazard allowance or any kind of anything for our people risking their lives in line of serving this great nation. To have all the local emergency management committee on board and SEMAs on board. That was why we invited Bournemouth University, UK, to come and train, so that the capacity of the local emergency management committee and the capacity of the SEMAs can be developed. And all other critical stakeholders, which include our stakeholders, fire service, NCDC, and police, NCDC, and so on. So, relief for National Assembly, we have already directed a long time ago. Director Relief is here. I gave a directive that any relief request for National Assembly should not go to the state government. And I've ensured this has been ongoing. And is this how it is up to now? This is the directive, sir. We are not handing over to states. report coming from National Assembly goes directly to the National Assembly member to go and handle. The other, they will put in a request for the personnel as directed or as advised to also review our own condition of service. So we also, the agency is limited on manpower due to envelope budgeting. Because if you look at our 2023 budget of over 700 million, you'll be wondering if we are going to handle 2 local governments or 3 for the year. Then, as my elder brother mentioned, urban and regional planning, that we need, this is what is seriously needed. If there was proper urban and regional planning, we won't have flooding of this magnitude in this country. So that is something we have to work together with the states. This is something that is very, very, very important. Psychological fund that NEMA is receiving, that the states are receiving, and the local governments are receiving, cannot handle the magnitude of disaster of today. Banditry, insurgency, flooding, all with this. We are talking of 36 states, 774 local governments. So, and now with electoral violence, we are not praying for it. These are, yes, these are all. So I don't know how many local governments we are expected to handle. The agency needs special intervention. We lack equipment, we lack manpower, we actually need a lot. Distinguished Chairman, market is the responsibility of the local government and the state. When it becomes, that is if you have like maybe 1 life lost, is a minor case. If you have up to 9 cases, it's still within the state. But if it's above 10, it is catastrophic. So anything with loss of lives above 10 is catastrophic. Federal government get involved.